What is time? Every day has another week stuffed inside of it, like a little nesting doll of time, which means I have no idea how many days it's been since the RNC. So I'm actually impressed with myself that I can still remember something that happened last week. But actually, I don't think there's anything I could have done to scrub the image of Matt Gates's isosceles eyebrow arches out of my head. I mean, they were chiseled into my memory as they are chiseled into his forehead. I mean, at this point, is it a forehead? Is it a five head? I don't know. I digress. Usually, I come here and I give you some choice words for something driving me crazy. But today I have some choice nice words in the form of, a thank you. It said that if you love what you do, it never feels like work. And truly, no job has made me quite as happy as the other day when I got to sit down and write a Substack about his brand new face. So thank you so much for that. Look, I don't actually like to comment on people's appearances, but there are appearances and there are appearances. Personal decisions have been made, and those have been talked about ad nauseum. But when you're in a cult, you tend to do crazy things. It's not what's on the outside that matters, it's what's on the inside. I guess when the inside is full of really crazy, scary shit, maybe the outside starts to mirror that. I don't know. I just feel like my parents warned me not to change myself for a man, but Republicans didn't get the same message, maybe. Anyway, I would be remiss if I didn't add in another thank you to President Biden, who put country not just before party, but before himself. And somehow I'm shocked because we're so jaded that we no longer thought it was possible for a politician to put people first, even when that is their literal job. I woke up today feeling excited by an election that once filled me with doom. I mean, feelings of nervousness, feelings of fear and nervousness, they're going to be ever present. But for now, I really do feel a little bit of hope. It's so nice. I think maybe you do too. And you know what? I'm going to have a lot more to say about this very soon. Until then, obviously, please make sure you are registered to vote. I have to fan myself. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest today, I'm so lucky. It's Rachel Dratch, who I know you know from Saturday Night Live and her just world-renowned Debbie Downer sketches. I mean, I love her. She's starred in so many films, Wine Country, Clusterfunk Christmas, and she's the author of a book, Girl Walks Into a Bar. She's the best. So take a listen and make good choices. Oh my God, it's so nice to talk to you. Thanks for saying yes.
You too. Thank you for asking.
I just listened to the Frank Whaley episode of Woo Woo just before coming on with you. What an incredible ghost story.
That's the best one. It's the best ghost story I've ever heard.
It's the best ghost story I've ever heard. It's epic.
Listeners, you gotta listen to this. You've got to listen to this particular episode. But I can't believe you chose that one because that's the quintessential ghost story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So listeners, you're listening. It's Woo Woo with Rachel Dratch. It's really good. I love ghost stories.
Oh, good.
Are you just into woo woo?
I always add like several thousand disclaimers when I'm doing this podcast because I don't want to be thought of as the person that believes in everything. Like, there's plenty of holes you could poke in a lot of these stories.
Sure,
but over the years, it's kind of my favorite kind of story when someone has one, and usually the person telling it is a very credible person who's saying like, look, I don't believe in this, but this is what happened. So that's what I find really intriguing, like that line of, well, it's not science, but a lot of people seem to have some wacky tales. And I just like thinking that maybe we don't know everything, that maybe there's some mystery, because we think we know it all with science and how far we've come thus far, but I don't know, maybe there's some other plane that we're not privy to or something. So I like thinking like that.
I like thinking like that too, and I believe that. I don't know that it's possible to define what I believe, because I don't think it's possible to define what the other world is, because we don't know anything about it and we can't sense it. Like, how can we? I feel like we see so much on social media. We see so much about the interior lives of animals, and I feel like 10 years ago we wouldn't be like, oh, obviously they have their own language, that they're speaking their own language, and now they're decoding the language of whales using AI. Like, there's a richer texture to this world than we can know about.
I also think that I used to like wish that I was Catholic so I could believe in heaven, but I just didn't or don't, I guess. But then, because I was just like, well, when you die, that's it. But then hearing a lot of these stories, I mean, I like having a hole poked into that. Like, I like having it like, well, we don't know. I mean, sometimes I just have a person on to chat about whatever, manifest or something. It's not all like ghosts.
Right.
But, which I'm also kind of into in a cheesy way. But no, then like when every so often someone will have a story and they're a very believable person that I've known, for a very long time. So I like those. So that's what made me do this. It was just sort of what if we just talk to fun people about this stuff? So
I think that's so cool. I think it's super cool. And I feel like so many people have stories. Yeah. There can't be just nothing, right? Yeah. We can't just be spinning everything out of whole cloth, right?
I don't know. I mean, Frank Whaley had a ghostly lady living with him.
He had a ghostly lady with a real name and a headshot.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. That was the kicker of the movie.
That's the kicker. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna talk about. So my show is about choice, and I'm gonna definitely talk to you about some like big choices that you've made. Okay, but I want to know, like, are you a decisive person? We all do this in a different way.
I was thinking about this. My party line is like, I'm horrible at decision making. Like, it gives me a lot of stress. But that's about little decisions. I think about like big things, I sort of have a gut feeling. Like, but little decisions like, which rug should I get in my hallway? Like, that could take me just forever. Or like at a restaurant, I'm always like, I know I'm going to order the wrong thing. Like, I have a lot of I have a skill for ordering the worst thing on the menu. So stuff like that gives, restaurants don't give me stress, but I do have a knack for ordering the worst thing. But, no, just like little, they cause me like this ball of tension. And I think I have to explore that, but I don't know. How are you with decisions?
I don't know. I feel like it varies from day to day. Also, gut. I like to go with gut. I feel like if I'm trying to talk myself into something, it's usually going to be a absolute unmitigated disaster.
That is true. And one thing I feel like I've learned more as I've gotten older is like if you have this feeling, well, whatever, like maybe some little job offer comes up or something.
Right.
Something that's not like a, oh yes, of course I'm going to do this. And then like, well, this is how I tell friends to make decisions. Like, imagine, I mean, this is not rocket science. This is, you're going to be like, no shit. But just like, imagine how you're going to feel that morning. Imagine how you're going to feel walking into this job or whatever thing is. Imagine your emotion and then just go off of that, because that's like the true, like, are you going to be psyched? Or are you going to be like, oh God, I got to, and that's like just a very, very simple litmus test of what are your emotions going to be.
But then you kind of go, you should you could be like, after though, will you be happy that you have the money that you, like, will your bad mood at the beginning of the day be worth it?
Those ones are always like, no money. Is it going to be something you're doing because your friend asked you or because could be fun. Like, I don't know. But that's just, I don't mean to get show busy about it. Like, it could be about anything. How are you going to feel in the moment?
How are you going to feel in the moment? Are you going to be dragging yourself there?
Yeah.
Are you going to dread it for 3 days and it's going to like crater 3 days of your life because you're going to be thinking about it? It's going to drag you down.
I mean, it can even be about like going to an event or a party or like meeting someone you're kind of an acquaintance with. Like, I don't know, those kind of things.
I do sometimes think, and this is such a bad perspective and I shouldn't ever do this, but I do sometimes think it's fun to actually, with determination, order the worst thing on the menu that you know is going to be like a story that you can tell, like going to a seafood restaurant in Maine, but getting the pad thai. Do you know what I mean? You're like, let's do it.
Order with the place. Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Always order with the place.
Yes. Rules for living.
So smallies are harder for you.
Smallies.
The smallies.
Yeah, the smallies are harder, I think, than the biggies.
Do you make personal decisions in a different way than you make like business decisions, or do you just the same?
I think the
set of metrics.
Same set of metrics.
Same set.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what is a big decision that you've thought of that has really changed the trajectory?
Oh, like for this, like what's the biggie?
Yeah. What's your biggie?
God. Well,
what's your biggie?
I had trouble thinking of one, and then the thing that I thought of, then I looked, and a lot of people have done this, and it was of course like. You know, do I try to follow comedy and be an actor, or do I take a more traditional path? That's the one that jumped into my mind first because it's huge. It was a young decision. You know, I was young, and when I look back, I'm kind of shocked that I took the risk, sort of.
How old were you?
Well, I mean, I guess I was, 22.
What was the traditional path that you considered going
down? Well,
I
really wanted to become a therapist. Because I was really into psychology, and I still really am.
Yeah.
So, I majored in drama and psychology, and then I thought and I really had genuine interest in both things, and of course, being an actor was the crazier path. Like no one that I knew was an actor. I come from the suburbs, and I wasn't like running in LA or anything. So. I didn't know how you do it. Like so many performers that we know now, like there was no, here's your guidebook. Here's what you do to do it.
Yeah.
So it was a complete...
Let me give you a leg up.
Right. Or even let me tell you the steps to take. Like even there's no directory sort of. So that was just like a wild leap. And then the other thing is like you go to grad school and there's a clear path. So, well, again, this is based on the emotion thing I talked about earlier. I guess I thought I didn't want to go through life wishing I had tried to do comedy, but I definitely wasn't a kid like, I'm going to be an actor. Like, I wasn't like Hollywood or bust, like when I was little. So I was like a regular person, but then I knew like, I loved SNL when I was little. I was class clown. I liked doing plays, and I knew that I veered towards comedy. Like that's where I felt like I had more of a skill than in just doing the play sort of thing.
What was the first time that you stepped on a stage and you went, oh, this is actually for me. I'm going to like explore this. I'm going to go to the end of this.
Whoa.
I'm going to go all the way.
I mean, I did plays in school, but that was just fun. Like I just liked it for fun. Like it was sort of a dream, like way in the back of my head. Like I'd see a movie and I'd see a kid in a movie. Oh, I remember like I went and saw Annie when I was 10 years old. In Boston, whatever, the Colonial Theater, whatever. And I saw the kids up there doing It's a Hard Knock Life. I was like, wait, how do they get to... No, by the way, I can't even sing. Like, I'm not like, but I was just like, how do they get to be up there? Wait, how does this work? Like, that looks so fun. That kind of thing. Right. But I wasn't like, Mom, will you sign me up for blah, blah, blah. Like, it wasn't like that. So I think I joined an improv group in college. And that was my first, like I saw them. I went to a rehearsal and just like observed, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I could do this. Like it was sort of a gut thing of like, I think I could do this. And like there's not a lot of things that I look at like that, just in case you don't know me. I'm not walking around like I could do this and this and this. I was just like, but that was like a little like ding 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 ding, So then I got to join them, and then it was just so fun. Like it was so freeing to not have like, also like I'm kind of a lazy Pisces, so I like not having to like study the dialogue and learn like what's my character's choice here. Like I like just doing the improv of it all and like being in the moment. And I also love, if I'm going to go like cornball about improv, but what I love about improv is just you have to be in the moment. So that's what I love it for life. Like you can't be neurotic. You can't be indulging your neuroses while doing improv because you have to be there. And then once you learn how to be really there and not plan anything ahead or anything, like I think that's just very freeing.
Only if you truly love something can the thing itself, like the work itself, is the fun part.
Right.
It's almost like it's not meditating, but it's almost a meditation in a way because you're like have to turn everything else off. You just have to.
Yeah.
You can't be like going through your grocery list or your improv, like the improvisation is not going to work, or like the team work is not going to work. When you go out, or when you would go out to do improv, were you nervous, or were you like,
oh yeah,
step into
fear
this?
Is definitely part of it. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's funny we're saying this because I'm doing some improv. I haven't improvised. First of all, I finally got to Chicago. I'm improvising like every night at Second City.
Yeah.
And then you get, like, you lose the fear because you're doing it every single night and you get really, really good. And you're not like, oh, I hope this goes really well. And that's like, you know, the enemy of improv. So you get this flow going. Well, there's like back then, I couldn't imagine that I was going to sort of grow up, in quotes, and have a time when I'm not doing improv every night. I just thought, like, this is my life thing. And now I haven't improvised in years and years, and I'm about to do some improv shows in Maine with Matt Walsh and some guys from Chicago. I said okay because I was going to be up in New England, and now I'm like terrified. Like I haven't improvised in years, so I definitely don't have the flow. We'll see how that goes, but I just think it's funny because here I am talking about how great improv is, and I might eat it in 2 weeks. so I might eat these words and eat it on stage in 2 weeks. But
let me recommend the pad thai in Maine. It's incredible. It's the best.
I'm gonna get pad thai instead of the lobster roll.
Do not get a lobster roll. Don't even bother.
All right. Wait, did you ever do improv, or did you come in?
I didn't.
Okay.
I'm a sketch. I came in via sketch, and it was like, I mean, we would improvise in the service of writing a sketch, but then we would all go away and write. So it was like a totally different but similar, like a kind of a parallel track of performing all the time and putting on shows, standing in front of an audience for no money, asking them to like you.
Right. I'm just a girl.
I'm just
standing
a girl
in front of an audience for no money.
Yes. But then when you would like finish a show, well, you'll experience this soon in 2 weeks.
Yes,
were you like so calm? Is it calming? Like when you come off, you're like, oh, it's just, I feel invigorated.
I mean, so back then, like, you know, I started out at this, it took a while to get into Second City. So I went to this place called Improv Olympic, and like, you're still learning so much, you know, like you're learning about just like in terms of, you know, you're doing this group improv thing. Like when a scene is supposed to end, you feel the edit should come in. And like when you start to edit because you know it's supposed to be over instead of because you have an idea, like you just jump out not knowing. Like you just, things like that, like you just get better and better and more used to the audience too. Like there's something about getting to know an audience. But I sort of think like with improv, like 80% of it is pretty good. And then 10% is amazing. Like, oh my God, how did we do that? And then there's the other 10%, like Bombsville. It's so embarrassing. Like those ones, I definitely felt it in my body. Like when I do something, even now, if I do something that tanks, like, oh, like that sticks with me. Long past, if I do something great, that'll go away in like half an hour in my body. But something bad, like I'll wake up the next day and just be like, that shame, that public shame. Because I want to lean out, I want to poke through the fourth wall and be like, I know this sucks. Like, okay, I know it too. Like, that's when you can't do that. So you're just up there flop sweating. So, but everyone needs to go through that.
Everyone needs to go through that.
Horrid feeling.
Horrid shame where you're like, your cheeks are hot.
Yes.
It's like hot shame.
Oh.
So memorable. I hate it.
Hot shame.
Hot shame. If social media and like that DIY kind of like the world of like TikTok and like reels and stuff, do you think you would have launched into comedy if that had existed when you were coming up?
I've never thought of that. I mean, it's so different now when people ask me for advice, because what we did to, move ahead the biz is so different. Because now you can just make your own stuff. So I have no idea. I don't know.
I do feel like the business is changing so much. Not to be too show businessy, but that's what the world that we are living in. Like, I do feel like the business itself, entertainment business, has changed so much. It's just contracted so much that it feels like, in a way, the future is totally DIY.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, because when we were coming up, we had so much experience in front of a live audience, and like the hot shame of it all. And when something's going well, like that reading of an audience, that's you just have to learn. Like, that's kind of gone now, because people can just make their own stuff, and there's no live audience. So unless there's no direct. I guess stand up is the. But anyway, in my day, you had to read an audience.
You had to.
You couldn't just put it out on the internet.
You can't just be on TikTok and then go fill a stadium. There was a process, and we all burned in the fire. The fires of shame. Well, tell me about the transition to like Broadway, because you literally won a Tony for Botus.
Incredible. Thank you. No, I had done all that theater in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, cue me holding a long cigarette, but I started out in the theater. So
there I was.
So
the hot lights.
I'd done a lot of plays, and we performed 6 nights a week in Second City. So, but getting picked to do POTUS, which was 7 women comedy, and I got to be the kind of like the clown, like a lot of physical comedy. It was so fun. At first, they had offered me this other part, and I was like, I didn't really feel like that was me. And then I was like, and most of it was cast. And then I was like, well, is this part taken? And she said, no, it's not taken. And it was written for someone that's supposed to be really young, like a 24-year-old just out of school, whatever, to be this secretary. And this character was always like, she starts out really timid and mousy, and then she accidentally takes drugs, and the second act she's like out of her mind. But then they said I could do it, so the character changed just a little bit. But yeah, it was so fun. It reminded me of being back at Second City, because it was just, you could add whatever physical comedy you wanted in this part. So
that is so funny, because when you describe the character, I'm like, that sounds exactly like a character that you would play.
The mousy,
like just like so. No, just like a character that starts out as
exactly.
Like
it had
a normal
both
person.
It had both things that I love. Like, I always play mousy people, so that, like, being the person, like, okay, that's like, Vanessa Williams was the first lady, and I was always scared of her. It was just really fun to be running around all timid. But then I got to like totally bust
and then you're
out.
Tripping balls.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's perfect.
So
you get to unleash.
Yes.
Did you like the cadence of the shows? I mean, they do. That's like different.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different. I mean, it's still like the same performing muscles, but it's this. The space is like an echoing, like a gigantic.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. It didn't feel as large as I thought. It was a giant theater, but I don't know. It felt okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, I just remembered. I literally just remembered my ghost story. I lived in a ghost house. What am I talking about?
Oh my God.
What the hell? Oh. I grew up, I spent a large part of my youth living in a veterans hospital. Living in a defunct veterans hospital. Yes.
Wait, I love it that you forgot that you lived. Was it? I'm so
fucking
confused.
Haunted house. Wait. Yeah.
Maybe you blocked it out, like, on purpose.
I often forget, and then people go, remember when you told everybody that you lived in like an old defunct hospital? And I'm like, oh, yes, I did. Yes, that's right. I did. I don't think about it too often, but it was.
Wait, how did it come to be? Were you a child?
I was a child. Yeah, I was a child. And my mom, I moved in with my mom and her boyfriend, and he owned this Sorry, this is not at all.
No, I know, but I need to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, but he owned this huge house. Like, it was like a corner house. Very decrepit, by the way. Let's not even pretend that it wasn't. But it was like, and it still is there. It is still a decrepit house that's like on a huge kind of city block that had been a veterans hospital after the war. And it had become like a rooming house. So it was all like little different, like single men's apartments with like a bathroom down the hall. And because it was the 70s, they were like, just take the top apartment. And so I had the top apartment to myself.
Oh, wow.
And it was the scariest place on God's earth. It was the scariest house. And I betcha it is. I actually walked past there recently. I went to Toronto where I grew up, and I walked past the house, and I was like, I can't even stand on the corner with this house. I don't even want to be here looking at it. It was a nightmare home. Just a nightmare. Yep. Oh, come on, woo-woo.
I know. I don't want to ask you too many details because I want to save them for woo-woo.
No, I love it. Okay. Total transition.
Okay.
I read.
Uh-oh.
Tell me if this is true.
Me.
No.
Okay.
What I read about you. No, but I read that when you were experiencing early pregnancy signs, you thought you were actually going through perimenopause.
I thought I was going through straight up menopause because my mom had really early menopause. She was 41. So I knew that. So then and I always wanted kids, but I didn't consider it doing by myself, and I wasn't with a partner. And so then I sort of had let go of the idea of having kids, especially once I hit 40 with all the stuff you hear and blah, 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 even though half those SNL ladies have had babies after 40. So ladies, it's not too late. But anyway, I don't want to be insensitive because, okay, whatever. Sorry. I was 43, and then I had a late period, and then I
didn't a psychic tell you that you were going to have a child?
Yes,
at 43?
A psychic. Well, so
how did that happen?
Well, I was doing a play in LA, and this friend I know took me to a psychic for like my 43rd birthday, like as a present. But it wasn't just a psychic; it was a channeler. So you go in, and she's like, she looks down, and then she like looks up, and she's like, she was talking in a regular voice, but then she channels a spirit, and so then she suddenly was like, "Oh, hello! Thank you for coming to see me. Oh, it is so nice." And she starts talking in this accent, in this high voice like this, and she's very friendly and smiley. But I was sort of like stunned, what is happening? Like, it wasn't like, I wasn't just going, just so you know, I wasn't like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck is going on, when she started talking in that voice. But then she said a few things right off the bat that were not like googly things. They were like things I had felt. So I was like, wow, okay, she's onto something here. But anyway, then towards the end, she asked if I had any other questions, and I said, am I going to meet somebody? Because that was my constant question at the time. And she said, you're going to meet someone in 3 months. She said, no, wait, 3 to 6 months. And you're going to have one child. And I was 43. Yeah. Aforementioned mom with early menopause. And I was sort of like, okay, lady. Like, I wanted to believe it, but I was like, not really believing. And then, I said, am I going to have to do anything to meet this person? She said, no, you don't have to do anything. Well, 4 months later, I went to a bar around the corner from my house with a friend, and I met John, who is now the father of my child. But I met him at the bar around the corner of my house. Wow. And we started chatting. I didn't have to do anything. It was like a very easy conversation. And then he lived in California. We started long distance dating. Nothing crazy serious, really. Like, I was in my early 40s. And then I don't know when after that, but then I thought I was going through menopause. And then I was talking on the phone with my friend. She's like, I was bummed because I was, 43. And I was like, I think I'm going through menopause. She's like, maybe you're pregnant. I was like, no, that's not. And then I got the test just to sort of like rule it out. I wasn't all like,
right.
oh my God. And then when I saw the, whatever it was, the 2 lines, oh my God, shock of my life. That's so funny because when I was thinking about big choice, I was like, well, this is like the biggest thing that I ever had, but it wasn't a choice. It was like I feel like, magic from above or something. That's how I I just like feel like I kind of won the lottery because I don't know. I just have this great kid.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So well, how shocking to look at the pregnancy test.
I was so shocked. I wasn't even like holding it like, oh, what's it going to say? I put it down. I was watching some stupid like talk show or something. And then I came back in like, pick it up. And then I was like, like the hair on the back of my neck was like, I was freaking out.
Then you get the little form and you're like, wait, what does this mean? It just,
I had to look
at the instructions again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you go get another one after that? You were like, maybe that's a sign of menopause.
Well, I coincidentally had a doctor's appointment like the next day. Total coincidence. And then I got it confirmed. And then it was off to the races. Yes.
Oh my God. Because I also did read from about you that I also feel like very deeply in my bones that you said that I'm a mom who does comedy when it comes around and that your main thing is school pickup.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, first of all, I forgot to say that the day that I looked at the pregnancy test, then I remembered the psychic thing because that hadn't been in my mind. Like I wasn't thinking about that every day. Like, and then like later that day I was like, I just got chills. But like
the channeler,
just like the channeler. Oh my God! Like so that was okay. Anyway, but then at that time, the jobs had slowed down a lot. Like I was sort of like working, here and there, and I was lamenting it, But then, I actually was psyched that I had all this time to be a mom. It was kind of reverse, whatever. I don't know. Like I did it on a different timeline, but that's just how it happened.
I love school pickup. I love school drop off, and I love school pickup. It's my favorite.
Well, oh my God, this is so funny. So I have a friend, and she's very like chic. I would say she's like she's breezy chic.
Breezy.
And we were like going to this clothing sale thing, and she was like, "Oh, this would be great for school pickup." And I was like, "Bitch, I'm wearing sweatpants." like what? She's like had this like really nice blouse and skirt combo, and she's like, "Oh, this would be great for school pickup." And I was like, what? It didn't even cross my mind to dress up for school pickup. We're in New York City, baby, but still, definitely did not cross my. I didn't know that was even a concept, So
wow.
But I guess it is. I guess it is. Have you ever dressed for school? I never give a care.
No, I love school pickup. I love drop off. Especially love drop off because I'm up early and I I feel like it's like a good, even though my kids are really
I don't have it anymore. I don't have it anymore because he takes the bus. But I used to, not too long ago because
well, my kids are kind of aging out of it. Like they don't really, they're not that into it, or they make me, I still do it even though they're like 16.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? But I have to drop them early. Because they don't want to be seen with me.
Aww.
Usually, I feel like school drop-off pickup is just a big coat that you hide all your
that's a good
shameful outfits underneath. Not like a skirt and blouse.
Breezy chic.
Your
blouse
breezy
skirt combo.
Just
and
something
statement
like a little
necklace.
Just like a boho kind of chic.
Wait, actually, hold on. I got to tell you one more thing. So I just did this. Okay, I'm in a video that just went viral. Because, and I never, like, I'm not on TikTok, whatever. But Amy Poehler is, and she has a giant following. So I went to dinner the other night with her, Rashida Jones, and Seth Meyers. And as we were walking out of dinner, Amy's like, "Oh, let's just do this TikTok. It's this thing people are doing now where they say what they're wearing." And I'm like, I'm like the old person, like, "What? What is this?" And like you say, like, shirts and a little. Okay, you've seen this. See, you're more.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Well, I'm not on those things, but they grace my feed every once in a while. I'm like, what are they doing? Why?
I'm like, this is so dumb. What? And I was like, okay. And so I do it now. I almost swore to that dinner this cute dress that actually I was shopping with the Breezy Chic lady.
Breezy.
I got the cute dress, and I had this. I even bought I bought this like cool big necklace, and I said to the sales lady, I was like, well, this isn't me. Like, I don't usually. And she's like, well, this could be you. She was like, well, this could be you. So anyway, I almost wore this cute thing with a necklace and that. But instead, because I was like, I'm not like feeling this. So instead, I threw on this simple black dress that actually Polar had cast off to me. It was very simple. Anyway, I don't know that I'm walking, and now I'm in this video that's been seen like 11 million times. And I almost wore like the outfit you'd want.
The perfect outfit.
Yeah. I'm just lamenting that I don't leave the house with like, thinking that I'm going to go viral.
Make videos and go viral.
Exactly. So that's another clothing related anecdote.
God damn it. God damn it. A statement necklace.
I could have had a real fashion statement, but
I'm amazed by statement necklaces because I always think that they look like Wilma Flintstone.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I just think of Wilma Flintstone. I'm like, I don't understand.
Oh my God, now I'm going to think of Wilma when I dare to wear this piece. Yeah.
Like no one gives a literal shit what I wear anymore. And that is great for me because it's fine. I don't care. But like, anytime in the past, if you ever work with someone, they're like, what about this? And it's just like a huge, like it's like a claw on your neck or like some big thing that is like clutching at your neck. And every time I put on something like that, it looks like I'm being strangled.
Yeah.
It looks like there's like a monster behind me trying to choke me. Like, talk about just like your clothes wearing you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Just a real like Marge Simpson. Do you feel like you're in, because I do feel like I'm in it a little bit in my fuck it years. I'm just like, fuck it. I don't have time. Let's just do what we want to do. Are you doing what you want to do now? Are you like, I fucking.
You know what? I feel like I'm in this transition because I'm just coming out of like my kid needing me there all the time. And so this is kind of hard because now I'm like, well, I have this big empty, like, who am I? Like, what do I want to do?
Yes.
And it's weird. Like,
hard.
I like having my little buddy there all the time. Like, I'm his best bud. But now, of course, he wants to hang with his friends and go off and do things and have his own choices. And so I didn't realize how much of a, like, adjustment that is. So I don't really know. I don't know who I am. No, I don't know, like, what I want to go out and do right now.
Yeah.
But I have to find something.
I think that is something that we do not talk enough about as mothers, especially. It's like finding purpose when your purpose is no longer to do like all the nourishment and all the caretaking.
Right.
Like when they're more independent. I share your feeling of like trying to find some purpose. I do think that they need you emotionally when they get in there.
Sure.
They need you a lot.
Yes.
They still need you a lot, but the form is different.
I agree.
And the round the clockness is different.
Yeah. We're going to find a hobby. Take up crocheting
isn't that so
or something. I don't know.
Have you like Googled what are good hobbies?
Whenever I get a thing, a survey, it's like, what are your hobbies? I'm like, I don't know, drinking margaritas. I got to find something like real. Because when you're in high school, you're like, I do class council and I play the cello and I blah, blah, blah. And like now, what are my hobbies? I don't know.
Yeah. I have a valid driver's license.
Special skills.
Special skills. No, I know. I'm like, am I supposed to learn a language?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's
a good one.
It changes every day too.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, you know what I got to do? I got to start lifting weights.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
then I
that's a good one too.
Yeah, well, if I did it, it would be great.
Yeah.
It's not happening currently. Oh my God, this was so fun.
Oh, good. So I hope I talked about my choice enough.
Rachel, you delivered.
Okay, good.
You always deliver.
All right.
You're a deliverer.
Thank you. Glad we made it happen.
That was Rachel Dratch, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. Rachel mentioned that she's a lazy Pisces, which one is actually a great band name, but also I don't do a lot of astrology, so I wanted to see what Pisces generally are known for, even lazy ones. Okay, turns out they can be empathetic, emotional, creative, generous, and imaginative. That's pretty on the money. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Bee. See you next week for some more choice words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Josh Richmond. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at RealSamB on X and Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.